bookish friends, welcome to another From Pages to Screen video. In this video series, I compare the adaptations with their original written work. For this video, I will talk about one of my favorite thriller books that I read last year, which was The Snowman by Jo Nesbo. The Snowman is a 2007 novel by Norwegian crime writer Jo Nesbo. It is the seventh entry in his harryhole series. This book was translated to English in 2010 and to Turkish in 2015. I really did like the Goodreads synopsis of this book, which gives the atmosphere of the book really well. Oslo in November. The first snow of the season has fallen. A boy named Jonas wakes up in the night to find his mother gone. Out his window in the cold midnight, he sees the snowman that inexplicably appeared in the yard earlier in the day. Around its neck is his mother's pink scarf. Hall suspects a link between a menacing letter he's received and the disappearance of Jonas's mother, and of perhaps a dozen other women, all of whom went missing on the day of a first snowfall. As his investigation deepens, something else emerges. He is becoming a pawn in an increasingly terrifying game whose rules are devised and constantly revised by the killer. Thomas Kaufman wrote that The Snowman gives us suspense and veritable gallery of memorable suspects, which makes it a great read. Like I said before, this book was my favorite thriller that I read in 2022. Although I gave some other books 9 out of 10 from harryhole series, I think this book, maybe because of its very personal connection with harryhole himself, was the one that I felt the most emotions when I was reading it. I thought the connection between the previous books and this book was done excellently, and I was awed by how Nesbo could structure even the smallest details, thinking about what will come next. And also among the colleagues of harryhole in the murder department, Katrina, who was the colleague of Harry on this book, was my favorite side character of the series so far. Additionally, the body reading experience with Nikki and Naomi added so much to my enjoyment, because we discussed a lot while reading this book, and we love making guesses in this book. So overall, I thought it was an excellent thriller, and I gave Snowman by Jo Nesbo a 9 out of 10. Snowman was adapted into a 2017 psychological thriller film directed by Thomas Alfredson and written by Peter Straugan, Hossein Amini, and Soran Stevistrup. It was an international co-production between the United Kingdom, United States, Sweden, and Japan. The film stars Michael Fassbender, Rebecca Ferguson, Charlotte Gainsbourg, Val Kilmer, and J.K. Simmons. Principal photography began on the 18th of January 16 in Norway, before moving to London and Sweden. The movie premiered in 7th of October 2017 at the Hi-Fi International Film Festival, and was theatrically released on 13th of October in the United Kingdom and Sweden, and 20th of October in the United States. The film grossed $43 million worldwide against a $35 million budget, and it was widely panned by critics, who called it cliché and uninvolving. Alfredson later attributed many of the film's problems to the film's rushed production schedule. In From Pages to Screen, I compare the adaptation with its original work according to 4 criteria: faithfulness to the book, casting choices, acting quality, and my IMDb rating. I try to be as natural as I can in the first 2 criteria, but of course I'm more subjective on the latter 2. For faithfulness to the book, I think 2017 version was in general faithful to the book, especially in the first half of the movie. Although some details were omitted, it was quite faithful to the book. But after the half point, there were more and more changes, and ending was a bit changed, although the killer was not changed. Since it's really hard to adapt a 500 plus pages book to a 2-hour movie. Overall, I think it did a decent job, and I gave faithfulness to the book a check. As for casting choices, I think Michael Fassbender was a really good decision to cast, because he fits the physical appearance quite well. But the ages of some of the characters were changed, maybe to cast more experienced actors. So this one is also a check. As for acting quality, I thought some of the actors did their job really well. One of them was Rebecca Ferguson, and I quite liked Michael Fassbender as harryhole. On the other hand, I have to say the actress who played Raquel, so Val Kilmer, disappointed me a lot while watching it. But later I read that he had a health condition which impaired his speech. But it still does not change the fact that the acting in his scenes was very bad. Overall, this criteria is also a check. For my IMDb rating, I thought the changes simplified the wonderful complex structure of the mystery, and the movie misses the depth of the book in many ways, because we know the connections of the characters from the previous book. It failed to give the struggle and the panic that Harry felt one time in the book. On the other hand, I just loved the cinematography of this movie. The scenery taken from the, most probably a drone, was breathtaking. So I will give an additional 1 rating just because of this visual feast. And I will give Snowman 2017 movie adaptation a 7 out of 10. So this was my comparison of the book Snowman by Jo Nesbo with its 2017 movie adaptation. Please comment down below, have you read the book or watched the movie? And if you're a new viewer, first of all, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. For Turkish word of the day, since the story takes place in Norway, I thought Norway should be the word of the day. Norway means Norveç in Turkish, and Norveç is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.